Prayer in the field of silence. When the body is conditioned to negative emotions, there is a moment, soft and fleeting, just before awareness returns, when the body does not wake from rest but from memory. A memory not of events but of emotions. It is the body that stirs first, not the mind, and what rises is not thought but feeling. A restlessness with no cause. A shallow breath before the first conscious inhale. The tension in the chest arrives before any name, any face, any reason. The body remembers, not just moments, but patterns, not just pain, but chemistry. The flavor of resentment. The sharp, metallic twinge of fear. The cold echo of shame in the bones. The sudden rush of adrenaline, not from danger, but from a habitual loop mistaken for presence. Before the mind opens its eyes, the body has already spoken. And what it says in its quiet language of sensation is this: we are not yet free. Because the body, ever faithful to its past, ever loyal to survival, has learned to rehearse emotions like sacred rituals. It does not ask whether the threat is over. It does not verify the reality of fear. It does not evaluate whether the pain is still useful. It simply remembers. It replays what is familiar, what is known, what has been chemically repeated enough to become truth. And so anger becomes a script. Anxiety becomes a rhythm. Judgment becomes a pulse. Sorrow becomes a shape in the shoulders, in the gut, in the heart. Each one encoded in flesh. The body becomes the unconscious mind, a living memory of every feeling that was too strong to fully release. We speak of addiction and we often think of substances. But far more insidious is the addiction to emotion. The deep, invisible loyalty we carry toward our own suffering. Not because we love it, but because we recognize it. And in recognition there is comfort. The body prefers the known even when it hurts. We return to the same thoughts that wound us, not to be punished but to feel something familiar. Because what is familiar feels safe. Even if it is toxic. Even if it steals our vitality. Even if it keeps us chained to a past that no longer exists. The body, wise and innocent, becomes a temple of memory. We do not judge it. We honor it. Because the body was never the enemy. It adapted. It became what we rehearsed. It molded its biology around the emotions we fed it most. It braced itself to carry what the heart could not let go of. And so the breath became shallow. The muscles clenched without reason. The heart began to beat defensively, like a soldier trained for war it never asked for. The brain, loyal to the familiar, built pathways from these patterns, and called it personality, called it identity. But within this field, this sacred silence, there is another truth waiting to be remembered. What was conditioned can be reconditioned. What was memorized can be rewritten. What was unconscious can be made aware. Even though the body has become a script of the past, consciousness holds the pen. It is always possible to choose again. So now let us begin. Not by fighting the past but by loving our way out of it. Return gently. Return from the reflex of pain. Return from the rituals of anger. Return from the longing to suffer. Return from the comfort of your own tension. This is not the way to remember who you truly are. The cortisol storms. The silent blame. The internalized threat that has no name. These are not your truth. They are the shadows cast by a self who once survived through contraction, not expansion. But here, in this stillness, something else is possible. Begin with the breath. Let it deepen. Let it wander beyond the borders of habit. Let it move into the territory of trust. Breathe as if you were never broken. Breathe as if your body were sacred soil. Breathe as if the future were soft and listening. Let this breath be an invitation. Call in the courage to feel something new. Gratitude, not as performance but as presence. Peace, not as idea but as rhythm. Joy, not as reward but as your rightful baseline. Ask your mind to think a thought that does not trigger alarm but signals alignment. A thought that speaks of possibility, not protection. A thought that says, it is safe now, to be well. And the body will listen. Because the body always listens. Flood your inner world with new instructions. Not forcefully, but with care. With repetition. With reverence. Let the chemistry of calm begin to rewire the circuits of defense. Let the muscles learn the flavor of ease. Let your heart memorize coherence. This is not denial. This is not pretending the pain never happened. This is transformation. Biological, neurological, spiritual. The brain begins to fire differently. The hormones shift. The heart recalibrates. The breath finds music again. The cells open to a different signal. The self that once lay hidden beneath reactions begins to rise. And now, in this in-between place, between what you've been and what you are becoming, You may feel the sacred dissonance, the body wanting to go back to what it knows, the soul inviting it forward into the unknown. Stay in that edge. Stay long enough to choose. Because every choice reconditions the self. Every breath you take in peace becomes a vote for a different future. Every moment you resist the pull of the old emotion is a signal to your genes that something new is possible. Every time you choose not to react but to remember, you rewrite the pattern. You are not here to repeat. You are here to evolve. Even if the body trembles. Even if the old ghosts rise. Even if fear knocks louder than hope. Let them come. And let them pass. Do not host them. Do not negotiate with them. Do not build shrines to them. Speak gently to your nervous system. Tell it the threat is gone. Tell it that rest is not dangerous. Tell it that peace is not suspicious. And trust is built moment by moment, breath by breath. This is your practice now. To sit still enough to choose again. To be aware enough to teach the body what it never learned in trauma. That safety can feel like softness. That peace is a frequency. That joy is not an emergency but a natural state. Let the silence say what noise never could. Let the body feel something new. Let it rest, not in vigilance but in presence. Let it learn the language of light, the cellular song of harmony. And above all, let it remember that love has always been the original signal. That wholeness was never lost. That healing is not a destination but a return. So breathe deeply. Feel fully. Rehearse with care. Choose with presence. And become the version of yourself you are meant to be.